Joe, we talked about copywriting because even though I am a writer, I'm scared to admit I couldn't actually, decipher what that actually meant. If you say copywriting, I'd be like something to a photocopier. But we now know what copywriting is. It's you create content, written content for a variety of different ways.
Yeah, anything that people want to put out there to spread a message, whether it's text on a leaflet, a blog, funding application, website content, presentation, anything.
So how's that different to something else you've got on your LinkedIn profile, which is ghostwriting? Because that's completely different, isn't it?
It is. It's completely different. Ghostwriting is when a client has got a really good idea for a book, and they've got all of the knowledge and the story that they want to tell.
They've got a good idea.
They've got a good idea. They've got a good idea, but for whatever reason, they're going to struggle to write it down.
Yeah.
And that might be that they lack the technical skill to actually write fluently and write coherently, or it might be that they don't really have the time or desire to sit down and write, because it's somewhere between an art and a science,
isn't it?
I think.
It's a real discipline,
yeah. It is. And they might think, I'd rather someone else did that for me and help.
Almost, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's about helping with structure and things like that, because what's good in your head might not translate well to the reader. So a ghostwriter is kind of an objective sounding board as well, and they can say, oh, well, that doesn't really flow.
Almost like a silent partner in business.
I think so, yeah. And they're just there to provide that guidance so that the written word does come across as a book. Now, it's never for, well, certainly not to my knowledge, ghostwriting isn't for a novel or anything like that. But it tends to be people who are writing a work of non-fiction, whether it's a manual, a guide, an autobiography, a self-help book, training directory, something along those lines. And so business books are quite a popular one for what my clients come to, which is really nice for me as well, because I'm a chartered manager as well through my work in senior level education, or towards the end of my career anyway, in that sector. So writing business books is something very enjoyable. And so my clients can come from all over the place, really, but unfortunately I do get a lot of time wasted, because I get someone who'll contact me and they'll say, I want to write a book and I need someone to help me. Now, this is no disrespect to anyone at all, but if you're going to write a book, you pretty much need a platform from which to sell your book. So, for example, some of mine are like celebrity clients, if you will, or they're an icon in some way. I'm not saying, people that everyone's heard of and you're seeing constantly on your TV, but the people who've actually done something. So one of mine is a multi-world record breaking blind man, and the most crazy person I've ever met. He's called Mike Newman. He's blind. He holds all these world records for being the fastest man on land, in the air, and on the water. He races speedboats, high level, high performance cars, supercars, and he's broken all these world records. He's done it all blind. So he's got a great platform as an example, because people he's got a following, and he's got industries that he's involved in, and people will want to read that and sell his story. Whereas if you're just someone who people haven't heard of, then it's absolutely no disrespect, but if you've not built that credibility behind you...
It's in a vacuum, isn't it?
Yeah,
just putting
why
something
would
into
people
an
want
empty
to read
space.
it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so
it's
if somebody was considering coming to a ghostwriter saying, I've got this idea, it's almost, the idea is good, or the book could be good. You could even have to say to them, well, imagine when we finish this book, what next?
Yeah.
Where's it going to go?
Exactly,
What's
what you're going to do.
Why
what you're going
to
do. And most of my clients use it as a springboard, because they're often invited to do keynote speeches and speaking at events. So if they can say, well, I've got a book and I'll be signing it at the end, it's great. It mixes nicely, and they can promote the book. They can go on book tours. Now, the only reason I say about you need to have some kind of credibility, I'm not saying that you can't have a go at writing a book, because if you get a publisher who says, yeah, we like that idea, go for it, and please do give me a call, and if I can help you, I will. But largely, a lot of books these days are self-published. So therefore, you've got even less of a platform behind you, because if you're self-publishing, you don't have this mighty publishing house that's going to put it in Waterstones.
And you're doing it all yourself, and you might not know what to do. And the danger with that is it's almost like, if you think of it like the internet, anybody can post on the internet.
Yeah.
So there's almost no, like, you know, somebody to bounce off and say, this is of a high standard.
Exactly. This,
You know, you've self-published it,
quality.
okay.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? You know, whereas if somebody's published it themselves, or you've had someone write it with you, you can say, right, there's a credibility there. There's a standard of writing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm quite choosy, I guess, because in the early days when I was trying to build the portfolio and the client base, I was saying, oh, yes, I'll write your book with you. And whilst the structure I work on is that I get paid chapter by chapter and never anything once it's published, so I don't get royalties. There's no kind of good part of a book selling 1 million copies, because I'm not going to get anything from it. So whether it sells 1 or 3 million, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I get paid as I go along. But if you've got someone who's just really not committed because actually they don't have a story and they want you to do all of the work, then they give up after a chapter or two. And whilst I've still been paid for those chapters, it's a waste of time. I could have got involved in doing something I really loved.
Yeah. So you'd say it's more the copywriting is the one.
I do prefer it, because you get fully into a project and then you can see what happens when it's completed, and it is relatively short term stuff, but you know that those people, if they ever need something doing in the future, they'll hopefully come back to you. They'll spread the good word, you know, to the partners, clients, colleagues. And it just goes from there, and I love it. I love seeing something created and put out there. But ghostwriting is obviously a very, very, very long process, really, and so it's not as instant. And like I said, it can fail because people just lose interest.
Well, I think it's important for people watching this to understand it, because I was saying I think I kind of know what it is, but most people wouldn't, watching this, what is a ghostwriter and what is a copywriter. So, now we know the reality of it. It's like a musician. Just because you play music doesn't mean you need to be in a band and try and make a career out of it.
Exactly.
And there's different ways of interacting with things. So
different fields with it.
We need to get into this, because, you're not shy for making the odd controversial comment. I respect you for that. I applaud you for that. We talked about it. So I'm gonna put this to you now, right? We're gonna talk about language.
Okay.
Because are we not in the age of video? Is the language not dead?
Oh.
Is it not all about emojis? Can we not just like and wink and put a thumbs up anymore? Is that not enough? No?
You can. Of course you can do that. You can do whatever you want. If that's how you were going to communicate with me, the communication would probably be stopping right there. And to give you an example of that, when I was teaching a registered training provider, I was in a very pastoral role, really. I was head of education and partnerships. And so I was responsible for getting a group of 16 to 19-year-old lads who were otherwise disengaged from education, but they were really into sport. So I was heading up this sport programme to hook them in to furthering their studies. Wow. And I took a very pastoral lead with it. And because it was very informal and flexible, they all had my number. And as the relationship's building with them, if they needed me for anything, I'd help them. But, I'd get texts off them and they'd be written really poorly, it'd be sent in emojis, it'd be spelt appallingly, or they'd just, like, I've not heard from them in 2 weeks, and they send one saying, when do we get our stuff back? But, so I used to make a point of replying with, good morning, Josh. So he's seeing this because he knows I've done this to him loads of times. Good morning, Josh. I'm very well, thank you. So lovely to hear from you. How are you doing? In answer to your question, which you so beautifully put, and then I just put it at the end, try again, and I'd loved it, because then they'd text me back and they'd say, sorry Joe, good morning, how are you? Hope you've had a good day.
Yeah,
but it was
they can do it.
Yeah, they can do it. It was getting them into that skill set of thinking, well, you can't talk to people like that. If we were mates, which, since I've left them and that, we are, there's a friendship there, and that's great. Yeah. But when you're dealing with someone in a professional context, you can't just rely on emojis or abbreviations or shortened forms. So, no, I do think, get a little bit of class in it, phrase things properly. But with you saying about video, it's a fantastic tool for communication. It's wonderful, it's instant, people can just access it, we're doing it now, it's wonderful. But, there is that skill in being able to write about something and put it across so that it leaves just as much, if not more, of a legacy, because there's less and less you know, writing now. I know you'd made the comment before when we were having a cup of tea, and you'd said about hieroglyphics. We've gone full circle to just
hieroglyphics to emojis now. What's happened?
And it's kind of sad, you know, where are the words gone? And I love language, and I want to see it evolve. It's my passion and my dream. I want to get a new word into the dictionary.
Brilliant!
That's what I want to do.
You want to have your own word in the dictionary?
I want to have my own word in the dictionary, and I can't tell you how disappointed I've been on countless occasions where I've thought I've done it.
Seriously?
And someone's gone, no.
Oh, you keep trying. Like you say to Josh, try again.
Try again.
Get in the dictionary.
Going. Yeah.
That's a good ambition.
I do want to do that. So I've got no ambition to write my own book. Everyone always says, do you want to write your own thing? I don't think I do. I like writing for other people.
Okay.
Now that I've got a young child, maybe I might look at writing a child's book at some point, but it's not the dream.
No.
But getting a word into the dictionary, because we should evolve and you know, see how far we can keep going with it. But no, if someone sends me just emojis or you know, God forbid they write lol in a text to me, I'm not happy. But I think as well, I don't know how you feel about it, but you know, when it happened before, something came through the letterbox while we were filming, I think, and you know, it's always bills or junk mail.
Yeah.
I'd love it if, like, you know, someone had written me a handwritten letter. And that hasn't happened in years. You know, I had a pen pal when I was a kid, and I'd write to my mates down the street and stuff, and we'd post things through. And I loved it, and I've kept all of them because I absolutely love it. And whilst we communicate with videos, it's wonderful to look back, and we all have our smartphones, and we look at what happened the night before and everything. That's great. I would love to think that, you know, we'd still.
I think there's you're getting into something really quite deep here, which is level of effort. So, for example, if you go back to what you just said about video, you know, I know I've been making these videos now, and I've made, you know, say, about 60 videos or something, say a couple of months. People are like, oh, it's easy, you just get your iPhone, you click. Yeah, you do. But then you've got to do your caption box, and then you've got to copy and paste, you've got to tag it, there's so much writing that goes on behind the scenes. All these people making these videos, but equally with saying about websites.
As well,
planning it, website, you've got to do coding.
Yes.
So you need to understand that.
Whole
but
new
also,
language.
What you were just saying about writing a letter, it's the level of effort. So I read a really perceptive thing that was saying the danger with all the speed of technology is it's easier to do, so you undervalue it more and you expect more for less. So for example, if I text you, not only can I get a message across to you really quickly, but I expect you to respond quickly.
Yeah.
So actually, you shot yourself in the foot because you're thinking, you know, we used to write this letter and it took ages. If only we could have this email and make it quick. But then when we get it quick, we expect it quicker. So actually, you've just accelerated. Yeah, it's impatient. So what we're actually saying is, when we talk about engagement and videos and things, what people are actually saying is, I want you to make the effort with me.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to just like it. I don't want you to write lol. I want you to actually make the effort to say, you know, if you got a letter now, somebody watching this writes you a letter, and you think, you've taken the time. You've taken the time to write this letter, get my address, do that.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that will never die.